All right, hi everyone. Welcome back to another live lesson. Here, I'm Brian Baker here at our music lesson studio, Brian Baker Guitar Studio at KV Oasis Youth Center. We're at 26 Pettingill Road in Quispamsis, New Brunswick, Canada. And today, what we're going to do is go over a few things. We're going to go over scales, the numbers that's associated with the scales, and talk a little bit about the cage system for you. So just to get warmed up, I'd like to do a little Stevie Ray Vaughan jam, I think. That might be cool today. Found a new chord, B7 up here. Same as E7 sharp 9. Let's move everything up one string. You get a B7. Now, how cool is that? So here's the little Stevie riff. It's called Tightrope. It goes like this. Whoop. Whoops. Mistakes included. We'll play the chords. It's a funky little rhythm. All right. I think we're warmed up now. All right, so let's get into a little bit of talk about scales. So when you first start learning scales, there's two different types of scales that you're going to come across right away. There's the major scale and the pentatonic scale. Now the pentatonic scale is 5 notes, penta is 5, and the major scale is the full octave. Probably best to learn the full octave scale first so that you can learn how to make the pentatonic scale later. So let's talk about the major scale. Okay, so when you first start learning the major scale, you're going to learn it over 1 octave. When you get more advanced and you learn the cage system, which we're going to talk about here too, you can learn your major scale across 2 octaves because the way the guitar is worked out, most of your scales, if you start on your top string, you can get 2 octaves, or if you start on your second string, you can get 2 octaves. Okay, so starting off, we'll start with a C scale, and I'll just play it for you. Isn't that pretty? C major scale. Okay, a couple things, what this C major scale means, where it comes from. You might have heard it before when you learned it in scale. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Okay, so it's a full octave scale, meaning it has 8 notes. And what those notes are is you give each note a number. And you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And the notes here in C are C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Okay? So, after you give each note in that scale a number, it opens up a lot more things that you can do with your scale. For example, you can learn about where major chords come from. Like, why is my C shape shaped this way in the first place? You know, someone didn't just sit around and, by the bonfire and go, let's try here, here, and here, and let's try here, here, and reasoning behind all this. And I just want to go over a little bit of that. So after you've given all your notes in your scale a number, 1 through 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, those are the scale degrees of that key. And the formula for a major chord, now this is really cool, is the first, the third, and the fifth notes of the major scale will give you your major chord. So if I go through my scale and I go 1, 2, 3. So that's 1 was there, 2 was there, 4, 5. So if I go like this, that's a C chord because I have 1, 3, and 5. And I put my finger down here again, that's another C, so that's another 1. Another E down the bottom, which is another 3. 1, 3, and 5. That gives me my C major chord. And all the other chords, there's a formula for making every chord. For making a minor chord, it's the first, a flat third, and then the fifth again. So let's just say a C minor chord. Well, this is the third degree, so you would flat that, and that would bring the note over to here. and you'd have something that looks like this if you want. Not too many people actually do a C minor chord like this, but just to give you an example, that's a C minor chord because I flatted my third. I took the third degree of the scale, which is here, and I moved it back one semitone, or I flatted the third, and I get my C minor chord. Other chords you can look at real easy if you already play guitar. Like if you look at an A chord, this note right here on the bottom, that's third degree of A. So if I take that and flat it, I have one flat third and 5, and that gives me my A minor chord. So that's a little bit of where your chords come from and the formula that's associated with them all. Other chords, D7, the formula for a D7 chord is 1, 3, 5, and a flat 7 out of the scale. So if I took my C chord again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that note is a B7. So in order to flat that, I put it up here. That's why C7 looks like this, because I have 1, 3, and flat 7. Then my root down here, and the 5 on the open string. That's what gives you my C7. Same as with that chord I was playing with Stevie Ray Vaughan at the beginning. That's a B7. Now the notes here are 1, 3, flat 7, and the 3 again. If I wanted to, I could put the 5 down here. But sometimes, now this is where things get interesting, because sometimes in a band arrangement, if you have a band, you don't need to put all the notes in there. Someone else can do them. You can do 1, 3, and flat 7, and then other guy can play the 5th, or the bass player can play the 5th, or piano can play the 5th, and you all come together and make the chord. Okay? So that's a little bit behind the numbers of your major scale and what they all mean. Now we'll just go over the cage system a little bit. The cage system is a really cool thing. It's the word caged, C-A-G-E-D, C-A-G-E and D, caged. And what that means, it's a tool for learning the bar chords. So each letter in that word is a shape of a bar chord. So C, A, G, E, and D are going to be the shapes that make up your major bar chords. So let's go through a few of them. So C chord. Let's say I wanted to make an E chord up here. I could bar here and make a C shape. And that would be called the E major bar chord in a C shape, because this right here takes on the shape of what would be a C. Okay, another one is the A. If I want to play a C chord with the A shape, I would go up here. This takes on the form of an A chord. Another way to learn your bar chords. Okay, where are we at? G chord. So G becomes a bar chord. You bar, let's say we go here, and we bar here like this, and we get what looks like a G. Now you could go like this, but a lot of people don't do it that way because it's too hard. So you get here, and that gives you your G shape bar chord. And then you have E. Let's say you want to bar here, and you make what looks like an E chord in front of your bar. That gives you your bar chord. And then the last one is D. Let's say you want to make G down here. You bar and make a D. And this should take on the look of a D-shaped chord. Now let's just recap this. I'll play G chord in 5 different places so you can see how the word caged comes out. So this is G chord here on the 3rd fret, and I'm making what looks like an E chord. See, E chord looks like this. I'm barring, I'm making an E. This gives me a G. Then I go here. I got a D shape. This is another G. This is another G with my C shape. This is another G with my A shape. And the G shape's down here. That's a tough one. It's do the same thing that's up here, but it's repeated down here. Okay, so hopefully this helps. A little bit of an introduction into scale degrees and the major chord formula. We jammed a little bit of a Stevie Ray Vaughan riff called Tightrope, and we talked a little bit about the cage system today. Hopefully this helps. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more. There's all kinds of videos and short clips on guitar tips and tricks and riffs that I like to play. If anyone has any questions or anything you'd like me to talk about, please drop us a line in the comments. We'd be happy to hear from you. Let's play that Stevie Ray Vaughan thing again. funky. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see y'all next time.